Hi, I'm Emily Erickson. I'm your instructor for Strength Seminar, and I just wanted to do a quick intro video to give you an idea of how this Blackboard works and who I am, and just what to expect for the next 7 weeks. Um, just to start off, like I said, my name is Emily. I have a background in biology and healthcare. I work as a respiratory therapist right now at Gunderson. And I've been doing that since 2011. And then I also work in the Science Center. I run the Science Center for Western. And what that is it's a space in the library that has a few instructors and myself, and we do drop-in support or support with appointment where you can just come in and we can work on anything from homework, test materials, like studying for tests, time management, uh, I'm trying to think of the things we don't do. It's probably easier to list the things we don't do. So like any sort of question that you have, we will happily answer. If we can't answer, we will find you the person who can answer. It's a great place to just come and study. We have tutors that are there, peer tutors, other college students that have gone through the same classes that you have that are ready to support you or give you survival tips, or just it's a really great place to not only be able to work on things in a sort of focus, uninterrupted way. But if you get jammed up where you've got a quick question or you're not understanding the pathway of blood through the heart, or you can't get your Blackboard to open, or your email is on the fritz, or something is going on, that there's somebody in real time that can help you kind of navigate that and keep moving so that you don't get sort of burnt out trying to do that at home. So I'm really passionate about that. I had a non-traditional path through school myself. I'm the only person in my family that has gone to college, and at the time that I did, and it was very overwhelming, and there was a lot of things I didn't know, and because of that, I made a lot of mistakes. And so I love being there to help students just navigate all of the things that you have to navigate when you come into college, right? It's not just your classes, it's not just the content. There's financial aid and enrollment and access services and all these different things that are relatively foreign on top of the material that you have to learn. So what this course is and what we're going to be doing for this next 7 weeks is that Western kind of recognized that a lot of courses in science and healthcare are really fast paced and they're very information dense. Because of that, if you have not kind of identified your learning strategies or your time management strategies, or figured out how to study for like a really high stakes exam, and you're also trying to do that in real time in a class that's moving very quickly, that can snowball and become really unattainable. So we were losing students, um, and we thought, well, why not try to give them some of those skills before they start the program? So this class is a class for practicing Blackboard, email, all of those digital literacy pieces that you're going to need for your courses and getting familiar in like a lower risk environment. But also we're going to practice different strategies for time management and active recall and test taking tips that deal with like how to overcome some of that test taking anxiety or be prepared, or unique strategies for memorizing. Not only just like having to do straight memorization, where like, for example, you might have to memorize all the bones of the hand, or for you guys, the teeth, but also recognize how to take that memorized information and put it into like a clinical application, right? Because you guys are working with patients and you have to like learn how to relay the knowledge in your head to them in a way that's approachable but still makes sense and makes them feel safe and supported. So we're going to go over some of those strategies in here. And ideally, in 7 weeks, it will make you feel much more prepared for dental anatomy, which you'll start in the second session. So really quickly, I'm trying to keep this recording short because I know intro recordings are really tough to get through. I feel like I'm trying to talk on 2x. You can still put it on 2x though. Okay, so first thing when you come in, you're going to click on class information and resources. And what this is going to do is if you click on the Start Here overview, this video that I'm making right now is going to be in here. And then if you come down, there's instructions on how to put Blackboard on an app in your phone. You don't have to do that. A lot of students do because most people use their phone in place of computers. So that just helps you do that. I think the trickiest part for students is this is a pass or fail course, which means you don't get a letter grade. You pass it or you fail it. The other option is you technically can get it incomplete if you, for some reason, don't complete the assignments to the point where you would fail it. You and I can come to an agreement where we have an incomplete and it just extends the timeline a bit. Communication on that one is pretty key though, so just make sure you let me know if that's something that you think might be happening. But how I designed the course is the grade book actually does use points for all the assignments and it does use a letter grade. And the reason why is this class is supposed to kind of prepare you for the class that you're going to take next, for the program that you're going into. And in all of your programs and classes, you are going to have a traditional grade book that has points and percentages for all your assignments, and then a percentage for your overall grade that's going to give you your overall grade. And from my experience of working with students, tracking their grade, tracking their missing assignments, kind of knowing how they're doing in a class. Sometimes they don't know how to access that or they're not sure what they're looking at. So I wanted you to have an opportunity to practice it like you're going to see it in your courses in the future. But ultimately it is a pass fail class. So if you see that you have an A, you sure do. You got the points, you're getting an A, but that's just going to translate to a pass. If you look at your percentage and it says D or F, then that does mean that you're failing in the same traditional sense that you would be failing a class, but it would just go on your transcript as you failed or like I said, where you could get an incomplete. Um, so I think that's kind of a tricky concept, but it's in the syllabus explained and it's explained here. So if you ever have questions about that moving forward, definitely feel free to reach out. This goes through the purpose of the course, communication expectations. I think checking your email once a day is a super solid habit to start now. Western communicates via email. That's the main way that they do it. So you can miss things really easily if you're not checking your email. And then just email me if something comes up and you know you're going to miss assignments or just really for anything. I think one thing that I notice is students will start missing assignments and I don't know if they are nervous about it, but if you just reach out to me and let me know what's going on, we can usually come up with a plan. And then some of the course technologies, I just want to clarify, Microsoft is free for all Western students. I include a link that explains how to put it on your computer. You can do a Blackboard app. You don't have to, but there's instructions there. Respondus Lockdown Browser. That is not something you're going to need for my course in the sense that I don't have any exams for this course. What I am going to have you do later on is as an assignment, you're going to download this and make sure that it's installed on your computer properly now, because when you get into dental anatomy, this is how they're going to give you your quizzes or your exams. So sometimes it can be finicky, where you might need IT to help you, or it just sometimes needs some troubleshooting. So having that downloaded successfully and working now before you need it just like alleviates that stress once you're in the actual program and needing to use it for an exam, right? Video conferencing, so Zoom and Microsoft Teams, there's instructions on here because that's something that almost every class uses. Usually it's Zoom. I think there's some select few people that use Microsoft Teams, so just making sure you're familiar with those since that's something that comes up in your program. And then Google Chrome browser is just one that I feel like is compatible with all the things. So like just using Google Chrome tends to alleviate some tech issues in the future as well. The next tab or link is syllabus, schedule, and contact information. Your syllabus is here. You can click on it and look at it. I have the calendar for the first 3 weeks where you can look at your assignments. I'm only not clicking into these because I really try to keep these videos short, and I just feel like if I click into a bunch of things, it gets lengthy. The second schedule is the Science Center flyer for the summer. So again, I run the Science Center, so I want you to have the information of when we're staffed so that if you want to come in at any time to work on anything or just meet with me or meet the people in there, I wanted you to see what our hours are. So feel free to check us out. It is a great place to hang out. It's a great place to study. You can bring food. It's very casual, and I cannot recommend it enough. And then my contact information, email me anytime. Weekends and nights, you can email me. I may or may not get back to you right away if it's an email, if it's a weekend or a night, but you sure can. And I check it at odd times, so I definitely might. I'm flexible. I can meet in person or via Zoom if something's going on and I can help in any way. Just let me know. And then the next thing that you can look at is student resources. So I always like this analogy because this is how it was phrased for me. When you buy a computer, often they give you like a year of tech support for free. When you come to be a student at Western, you get all of these resources included in your tuition. You get different academic help, different support services, right? The Learning Commons, the library has a plethora of things that are designed just to support students. Take advantage. If there's something that you think, hey, maybe they can help me with this, just try. I can't always guarantee that it's going to work, but there's a lot of different services and supports that I'm not even aware of that can help with a lot of different things: financial, health, mental health, childcare, transportation. There's a lot out there, and they're trying to make sure that students stay in their programs and are successful, and they really want to help you do that. So that's some of those services you can click in there and look through. And again, if you ever want to email me and just get more information, please do. Moving down, I have a link here with directions on how to get Microsoft on your computer if it's not already. I feel like login credentials can be kind of finicky when you're a new student, so I put some login help here. If you're in Blackboard, likely you figured it out, and so it's a little ironic, but there is some stuff about email on my Western in there, so that might be helpful. If you are looking for more access to computers, I put the information for all the computer labs and when they're open. So if you just click on those, it'll open right up. And then we come to the actual kind of course material. So when you open your Blackboard, you're going to see week 1, 5.5 through 5.11. And if you click on it or click on the drop-down arrow, either way, you're going to see an assignments folder. If you click on the assignments folder, there's a list of the assignments that you'll have due for this first week. All of them are due on Sunday by midnight, except for this last one, the Order Your Student Kit. That is not due until June 18th. The reason I have it in this first week, and I will continue to put it in subsequent weeks, is that this is something that you'll need for dental anatomy, and historically there's been delays in like the shipment or ordering. So I want to start early and just remind you often that this is something that if you can get right away, just get it done, because it can really be a pain later on. So moving back through the assignments, I'm just going to click into the support for you questionnaire. So this is a questionnaire that I have students do. So you can come in here and you're going to see the instructions here. Please download the questionnaire and fill it out. To download it, you just click these 3 dots here. Download it. It's going to pop up. When you open it up, you can enable editing and go ahead and fill it out. You can add as much or as little information as you want. Truly, this is just designed to make sure that if there's anything I can do to help you, you have kind of like a way to communicate that with me where I can try to connect you to services, or I also will modify this course based on some of the feedback that I get here on learning styles and what works for students and what doesn't work for students. So you'll fill this out and then you are going to save it, and different people save in different ways. I am a little squirrely with mine. It's kind of all over the place, but if you want to save it to the cloud, fine. If you want to save it to your computer, fine. If you want to save it to your desktop, whatever your version is, that's totally fine. I'm going to save it in this random folder just for this demonstration purpose. So if you come back to your Blackboard after you've completed an assignment, you scroll down, and I had already submitted it. This is my second video. So there's a couple ways that you can do it. You can drag and drop files in. You can free text if you want, where you can just type in here. I think that tends to be more work because you would have to type in like the question. But the way that I usually do it is I just click the paper clip and I add the attachment. So then I would go back to where I saved that, and I'm going to double click it. And it says, this is what I want to add. So I just kind of take a minute at this point to just make sure you're adding the file you want to. I'm going to hit save. It is now loaded in my homework. And if I come down here, I can submit it on the right, or you can save and close. If you're not ready, you can save and close it and it won't come to me yet. Once you hit submit, it comes to me and then I can grade it. If ever you submit the wrong thing or you're not sure if you submitted it, just definitely let me know. It's totally fine. It happens. I've had people submit the wrong assignment. It just things happen. So just never be afraid to just let me know. It'll be all right. We'll figure it out. After that, you have a quick discussion board. So if you click in here, this is just your name, something you're passionate about, something you might be nervous about in the program. And then if you're interested in a study group, I try to get a feel for people who might want to do a study group and organize that for the second session when you're in dental anatomy, just to help support. That's a pretty tough course. There's a lot of information. And so it just kind of gets us building that now versus when you're in it. So you just post your response down here, you post it, you'll be able to see other people's response, pretty similar to how you post comments on social media. Once you post, it'll link in and I'll be able to give you your points for that. Moving down, you have your college transition assignment. This is a 3-minute video that I have you, so view instructions. It's like a 3-minute video that you have to watch, and then underneath it, again, is a couple of questions that you would fill out, save, and submit back. I realize I'm talking fast, I swear it's just because I'm trying to make this video short enough that you feel like you could watch it. So when I click on the assignment, this thing comes up on this on the right. I'm going to hit view instructions. That's going to open up what I need to do. And this is a day in the life of a dental assistant. It's not very long either. You just watching to just show the different responsibilities you'll have. And then there's a couple questions for that. And it tells you what the points are over here, 10 points. And those are your assignments for the first week. I will open week 2 basically every Sunday. I'm going to open the next week. And it will have the gear assignments due on Sunday every time the same way. So Sunday open, Sunday due. Trying to think if I got everything. I think that's good for now. I don't want to add more things into this video and make it long. Please know that if at any point there's anything I can do, just reach out to me. The first week can sometimes be clunky because everybody's just kind of loading in and getting used to Blackboard. So I guess I don't want it to be stressful. If something's not working or the technology is challenging or anything like that, either reach out to me. And if the challenge that you're having is actually logging in where you can't get into Blackboard and you can't get into your email, you wouldn't be watching this video. So that's not helpful. But basically, I always try to think about how I would get a hold of somebody if they couldn't get into this. But just if things are going wrong, just know that like I'm not going to penalize you for it. The goal of this is to learn all the technology and feel comfortable with it. So this first week, we're just going to kind of get situated, get to know each other, and build from there. So thank you so much for your time. And I really look forward to getting to know you. And I'm really excited to be on your journey as dental assistants.